What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. So early this morning, I read about this rumor for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, that could possibly connect the Sith Troopers, the Knights of Ren, and Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord of the Sith. Now, this rumor gets into some other leaked information from months ago that I've known about, but I've never discussed on any videos up to this point. Now, I may have already said too much for some people who are looking to go into the Rise of Skywalker completely spoiler free. So if you want to stop watching this video, hey, that's cool, dog. I'm going to throw you the deuce and I'll see you on the next video. Cool beans? All right, if you're still here and you're brand new, hey, I mostly talk about Star Wars, but I cover superhero and martial arts movies too. Actually, I'm looking to make more videos on the MCU heading into Phase 4. So look for those videos starting in August. And be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you know when I'm posting new videos to this channel. Also, before I get into the meat of this discussion, I want to let y'all know that I'm putting together a brand new program starting in 2 weeks. And I'm looking for people who want to lose at least 10 pounds and get in better shape over the next 60 days while we wait on the Rise of Skywalker. Now I'm looking for 5 people to test it out at a huge discount, and they'll help me work out the kinks and get some amazing results that I can use as a case study. Hey, if that's you, comment, tell me more down in the comments. But if you're like, hey, Prince, dog, I'm ready to take my first steps to becoming an urban acolyte right now, hey, then DM me on Facebook, Instagram, or over on Twitter. And if you don't use any social media, because there's some people out there like that, just shoot me an email to info@urbanacolyte.com because there's no way for me to message you through YouTube. But okay, let's get into this topic because, hey, all of this is really blowing my mind right now. So I'm going to need y'all to really follow what I'm saying because there's a lot here. Like, this is stuff I've been reporting on since the winter. And some of this stuff I've been sitting on literally for months. All right, so let's go back to one of the first videos I did about the Knights of Ren in Episode 9. I think that's where we first learned about the Sith Troopers being an actual thing in this movie. So the Sith Troopers were loyal only to the Knights of Ren and Kylo Ren. Now, since he's the master of the Knights of Ren, of course they're going to be loyal to him. Now, the way this whole thing is being presented, the Knights of Ren were a third faction with their own army. That army being the Sith Troopers. Now, there was also mention of a threat from the Beyond. And now my first thought when I heard about a threat from the Beyond was that it might be connected to the Acolytes of the Beyond. So, I gotta apologize to y'all, but I have to assume people are watching me for the very first time. So if you're brand new and you aren't familiar with Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy, look, the Acolytes of the Beyond are a small movement of people who follow the Sith religion. They were created by Emperor Palpatine's top advisor, Tashu, who really did follow the Sith religion. Tashu was not a Sith. He was not Force sensitive, but he knew all these arcane Sith rituals. He knew the Sith language. Like, he was a bit of a weird dude who was completely devoted to Palpatine. He was one of the few people who knew the truth about Palpatine and that Palpatine was the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. This was one of the most closely guarded secrets, and even top officers and politicians within the Empire didn't really know the truth about Palpatine. Now, after the first Aftermath book came out, all these videos were popping up back in January 2016, back when people were still buzzing about The Force Awakens, and the popular thought was that the Knights of Ren came from the Acolytes of the Beyond. Now, I don't know why people abandon this hypothesis, but until we learn the true origins of the Knights of Ren, I'm sticking with this line of thinking, and here's why. So it appears that the Knights of Ren are connected to Palpatine and his contingency plan. See, what we've been led to believe is that the First Order is Palpatine's contingency plan. And I thought this for a very long time until I learned more about Snoke. Specifically, this Snoke was just a random Force user who happened upon the First Order fleet, and he manipulated his way into a leadership position. Snoke learned all of Palpatine's plans, his secrets, or at least we think he did. And then Snoke took what he actually did learn to push his own agenda forward. Now, see, what Tashu said was that The people who ended up being the first generation of First Order leadership should rebuild a new empire from the dark side of the Force. Now, this is why I said I realized that the First Order is not actually part of Palpatine's contingency plan. It's like if a football team found the playbook for the New England Patriots and they said, well, we're going to run their plays, but we're going for a different result. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I mean, that's what happened. The First Order sort of like what Palpatine had planned, but it's kind of not. See, Tashu spoke of a new empire being born from the dark side of the Force. That makes me think that it was going to be directly connected to the Sith. Instead of an empire being ruled by a Sith Lord, it would actually be the rebirth of a new Sith empire. Does that make sense? Look, we learned that Palpatine established an observatory on Jakku decades before the Clone Wars, where he had navigation computers that were mapping hyperspace lanes in the unknown regions. This is how Grand Admiral Thrawn was able to join the Imperial Navy. Palpatine wanted Thrawn's knowledge of the unknown regions. Palpatine believed there was a strong dark side presence out beyond the unknown regions, and he went so far as to think that it could actually be the source of the dark side of the Force. So Palpatine began sending exploration teams out into the unknown regions. Now, the First Order fleet went into the unknown regions, but according to this rumor, the First Order fleet is not the only fleet in the unknown regions of space with connections to Palpatine. So according to this rumor, there is another fleet, the Sith Fleet, and Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren are seeking information on that fleet. See, basically, Kylo Ren is looking to implement Palpatine's full contingency plan. Part of his quest to find this missing fleet and anything else that Palpatine was seeking or that his people may have found includes whatever this strong dark side presence might be. So this leads Kylo Ren to come into contact with some really strange creature that's similar to Bendu from Star Wars Rebels. Now, this creature has been described as an oracle that has the body of a spider and in a baby's face. And I mean, that sounds totally crazy. And that's why I never reported on it months ago when I first heard about it. So some of y'all have probably known about it. And I mean, I stay up on that stuff. I just don't always talk about it in my videos, right? But anyway, so I'm not sure if I'm really buying all of this right now, but I've been getting all of this from Jason Ward over at Making Star Wars. And hey, he's been pretty reliable on all the movie stuff for the last 4 years of new Star Wars movies. So I don't know if I'm throwing too much at y'all, but this is kind of the short synopsis of what I've been saying. Look, the Knights of Ren, being led by Kylo Ren, command these Sith Troopers. The Sith Troopers are connected to an entire Sith fleet with their own Star Destroyers. And get this, each Star Destroyer is armed with Death Star technology, so they all are capable of destroying planets. This Sith fleet and the Sith army are all part of Palpatine's contingency plan. The thing is, Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren are looking for part of the Sith fleet, and this Sith fleet is not part of the First Order. Now, for whatever reason, it's not clear to me, but Kylo Ren is either taking orders from Palpatine somehow, or Palpatine is aware of what Kylo Ren is doing, and I'm really unclear on that part, so we'll have to see how that all comes together. But either way, the Knights of Ren are all dark side Force users. They appear to be part of this new empire that'll be birthed from the dark side of the Force. And maybe it could give way to the Sith of old, back before the Bane Order of Sith, where there were more than just the two Sith Lords at a time. So Palpatine at some point makes it clear that he never intended for anyone but him to carry out his contingency plan, because Tashu says that Palpatine would return from death. Maybe the ritual that Tashu attempted to perform on Jakku before he was killed by Gallius Rax actually worked. Who knows? I think it would take too much explaining in the movie for that to happen, but I mean, who knows? So that's really it for now. That's the rumor. There seems to actually be a third faction at play here, and it sounds like it's the Sith. Now, whether Kylo Ren knows it or not, he's just as much part of this new Sith as he is the First Order. And there's going to come a point where I think Ben is going to be faced with either serving Palpatine or Darth Sidious as a member of the Knights of Ren in this new Sith Order, or if he's going to rule as the supreme leader of the First Order. It's like trying to serve two masters. And then there's also always the possibility of a Ben-demption if Ben Solo returns to the light and goes against the First Order and the Sith. Right now, there sounds like there's a lot happening here, but it sounds crazy that we could be looking at a third faction that's coming into play. Like, it makes sense to me that the Knights of Ren could be connected to the Sith, but it's bananas that there could actually be a Sith army that's been literally waiting in the shadows to emerge when Palpatine returns. It makes you wonder how Leia and the Resistance are going to deal with a new player on the battlefield. And this is making me really feel like the war will not end by the end of episode 9. I mean, even if this ends part of the story as it pertains to the Skywalker family. Also, bringing back the Sith as this major threat, hey, that could completely open up the story for the Benioff and Weiss and the Rian Johnson trilogies as Star Wars moves beyond the Skywalker saga. But anyway, yo, that's all I got for this one. What do y'all think about all of this? I mean, the Sith, the Knights of Ren, a Sith fleet armed with super weapons, and then Palpatine being tied to all of it? Like, what are your thoughts on this stuff? So let me know in the comments below, and I'll be checking back to see what you all have to say. And also, don't forget about this Jedi training program I'm putting together. So let me know in the comments if you're interested, or again, DM me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter for more details. Just hit me in the DMs and say, Prince, tell me more. But hey, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, click that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Embark on the journey to become the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. And yo, if you like this video and you want to see more, be sure to check out these videos on the top theories for Star Wars Episode 9. And you can also check out this other video that YouTube has picked just for you. But that's all I got for this video, so thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing. May the force of others be with you. Always.